Wait, who was picked by Colorado?
None of them were. Well, they were all traded for. Joe Sakic combed through the eliteprospects.com website, and these are the names he came up with. Sam Girard seems like a guy who'd play for Colorado. That's like 12 goals, 20 points right there.
Yeah.
Shane Blowers. We've never heard of him, but they love NCAA college ball in Colorado. So
Okay.
So somebody knows who he is.
We get a lot of shots. Everybody come to their net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net and
pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Continue to put pucks on net, and
it's just getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving and making it a hard night on them.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment, her palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Let's talk about fantasy or fancy stats. We got a big trade to announce. We got a full bench once again. Gang's all here.
It's real crowded in here.
Is there another trade?
You've been traded.
Oh.
Whoa.
Game time decision. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Means I can walk
What
out.
what are we getting in exchange? Or did you forget to ask for something?
Oh.
Future considerations, Geeta.
I always forget to do that.
Future considerations.
Where am I going?
You need to take the evergreen line out
You
there.
should walk out mid-podcast. You got traded.
Did the Matt Duchene. One of my personal favorite things to happen in hockey is when they get the boot.
That's really common in baseball.
Yeah.
That happens a lot at the trade deadline in baseball, where a guy will come out of the game in the 6th inning and shake hands with everybody. But yeah, it's only 2 times in my recollection. Mike Camilleri happened in a game in Boston.
Montreal.
Yeah, no, but it was in Boston. The game was in Boston.
And they put him in the cab and he goes to Calgary or something.
And now Matt Duchene finally gets his wish, but gets traded to Ottawa, which is a good team.
His prayers were answered.
It's a good team.
It's a good team now.
But you live in Ottawa, so...
if you watch the video, he kind of snuck out while another Avalanche was hurt. Like he was being.
Wait, just a second. Dave's right. It is about his dog.
Sorry, this is bad radio, but really funny. Every time they do a segment on Sven Baertschi on Sportsnet, it involves his husky.
I've got
it's
a dog.
Beautiful dog.
Yeah.
We know that, but we remember that. We know that from the first story
and the second one. Yeah. Now this is the third one.
I will now recognize him when I see him in Yaletown.
Yeah, Geeta knows
only their dogs.
Outside of the Sedins, maybe a couple of their, Troy Stetcher's dog, and now Sven Baertschi's husky, and that's about it.
If he could only train Brock Boeser. Oh no, wait, he did. Good job. Thanks, Sven.
I want to thank you for joining us wherever you've got us from. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa. And if you want,
welcome back, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a responsibility that was weighing heavy on Geeta's shoulders.
Yeah.
The old Ka.
Yeah, it's a lot to take on if you're not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
He sits there and just perched and wait. If you want to support the show monetarily, what was that, Paulie?
No.
I thought you had something there.
It was a sneeze.
It's the beard.
He's not the best color guy in radio for nothing.
I'd have to agree. If you want to support the show monetarily, you can head over to patreon.com/pucksonnet. No new backers this week, but we got a doozy of a 5 minutes for paying coming up that involves Geeta.
Yeah.
And it's similar. It's reminiscent to the old dump and chase segment we did yesteryear.
Oh, right on.
So we got a really good one, but we need to put it behind the paywall for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And
it gets a little bit blue.
Yeah, we're working blue tonight. There's a couple things this week. We're going to do a Pucks on Net drinking game on the show. We haven't done one of these in a while, and it's every time.
Paul and I have been at it for a couple of hours.
Well, Jesus H, no wonder.
That's why Paul hasn't said anything. He's hammered.
Yeah, but
just
the
feeling
apothic,
really good right
the
now.
apothic is flowing.
You look warm, and that's not just because you got like 4 jackets on, like a goddamn hipster.
The Pucks on Net drinking game tonight is you can every time we mispronounce Colorado Avalanche, because we're going to be talking about them a lot. So you can just get your apothic red going, or your soy, your dairy-free drinks that are coming in the mail. We haven't got them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're dairy free. Oh yeah, of course they're dairy free.
One of the companies.
I'm on that regular ass milk hard right now.
Almonds
are
good.
Yeah, some almond milk's coming to my house.
Shouldn't we mention them by name?
I haven't got it yet.
Are you gonna have?
I've also cut the dairy out, but I've replaced it with Bailey's.
That's dairy.
But this
You're just drunk.
when we get the stuff, we can talk about it. But it is the company that I legitimately only drink milk made by them. The almond milk they do is fantastic.
They loved our serious, hard discussions about dairy-free alternatives for your breakfast cereal. So a big box of it's coming to my place.
When I forgot the name of the company.
Yeah, whatever. They haven't sent
I'm
us shit yet.
Because of that, yeah.
Hey, for the 5th annual Pucks on Net Christmas party, are you going to have almond eggnog? Is that even a thing?
It is a thing.
Almond nog?
Alcoholic eggnog in the liquor stores right now.
Yeah, Geeta's got some time on her hands. She sends me a photo of this pre-mixed eggnog, which just comes in a shaped like a Jack Daniels bottle.
That's sacrilegious.
So I'm just going to be walking around with
I'm all about the ritual. Plus, it's just, you just want a little nog for color.
It's like I've replaced my morning Starbucks run with my morning walk to the PC liquor store.
Oh, this?
It's a nog run.
Oh,
look,
this
can
is
we do
new.
the show first before we do your intervention? Plus, your drinking really hasn't affected me one way or the other, so I really don't have anything to say at the intervention.
She's in great spirits.
Like, you do you, girl.
The Colorado. Matt Duchene was finally traded.
After you
where'd
guys
he
did a
go?
whole episode without me saying he never would be traded ever.
Well, that was we had that joke going for
Fill
years.
me in. Where did they dispatch him to?
Well, the funny thing is, he got there was a deal that was going to be made on like Friday or Saturday night, and it fell through. And then everyone's like, "Oh, geez."
It was still the mess with Nashville, though, was it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was the general idea of the trade was going to happen on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they got into damage control, like, "Oh, actually, Kyle Turris, we really, really like you." And
I'm not breaking up with you.
yeah, it's just no, everything's fine. And so that finally happened Sunday, and I was.
When you realize you got a family function, you need a date. Oh, no, we're okay. We're okay. We're okay.
We can work through that.
You bought the dress? Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, no, you find out he bought you something for Christmas.
I was like, oh, no. That's okay.
So
Fitbit.
I learned about the trade while I was driving back from Portland, and I didn't want to stop. I was really hauling ass, and I'm like, straight stretch, just kind of like bringing the phone up into my eye contact.
Don't do that, Ryan.
Ooh.
A drifter got hit somewhere on the I-5 last week.
I tell you what's weird is I went over a speed bump, and who puts a speed bump on the highway these days? It just doesn't make any sense.
That's an office reference for those.
It was. It's a good.
Well, at least you didn't use a gun.
So let's talk about PMAC.
So sue me. Wait, no, don't do that.
So this trade was supposed to go down on Friday. Things got real fucked up, and then now it's Sunday.
Yeah, and now there's a he said she said situation,
right?
Because Kyle Turris was signed immediately to a 6-year deal, and
how much was it? 6 years?
I think it's six
mil.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a lot of money for Kyle Turris.
Jordan Eberle got the same money, and Jordan Eberle is not as good. Oh, look, Ben Hutton's going to the penalty box. Jordan Eberle is not as good as Kyle Turris.
Kyle Turris is good at winning faceoffs and scoring about 14 goals a year.
But
because
big
he
goals.
plays in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And people forget that how good he was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
People also seem to forget that they were one goal away from being in the Stanley Cup Finals, which would have been a coin flip against Nashville.
Yeah.
When you play in Ottawa, you kind of assume that real bland personality and you're beige.
So is Matt Duchene just going to become Matthew Duchene? Although he picked a jazzy number.
95. Nice. Yeah, NASCAR number.
Morozov. Is number 9 taken in Ottawa? Is that the story?
I think 9 and 9. Yeah, 9 is taken by Bobby Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, he switched from 6 a while ago.
Now, we're talking bad contracts because 6 for 6 for Kyle, BCHL Tourist. Is there a worse contract in the NHL?
That's not a bad deal. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm okay
6
with
years,
it.
$6 million?
He's still in his 20s.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Is that not good money, or do you think is there potential for him to make more money?
Like after this contract?
No, like at this point in his career.
If he had gone unrestricted free agent, putting up 60 points a year and being a good playoff guy and a good two-way center, yeah.
I don't think it's the worst deal.
It's not the best deal, but it's especially for a team that's probably going to have cap issues pretty soon. That's a lot of money to have tied up in your number 1 and 2 center.
Right.
So
Turris had 60-point season.
But he might not have hit that exactly, but he'll project to that in Nashville playing with the guys he'll play with.
Yeah.
And again, there's the intangibles like the face-offs and the playoff performance. He's a good hockey player. Okay. I like the deal for Nashville a lot. I think it puts them in a great position. They've got now their top 3 centers It's
Johansson,
him, and Bonino.
Okay.
That's a Stanley Cup winning trio of center icemen.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I think they'll only be able to keep it together for a year or two because of the contracts and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're looking real good right now.
P-Man was bringing it up, but Turris has had 27 goals last year.
That's a lot of goals in today's NHL.
I didn't realize he was up that high with the goal totals, but he's been about 60 the last
those are
three
Radim,
full seasons he's played. So
those are Radim Verbata 2015 numbers.
But that's what I said. You don't pay it. Nobody pays attention to Ottawa.
That's the thing. Yeah, I guess I knew he was good.
Yeah.
But I was like, now was the time.
Didn't you call those Burnaby Express games back in 2008?
Kyle Turris, he's going to make 6x6 in a few years. I can feel it, folks.
He left before I started doing express games.
I have a really funny Kyle Turris story that a friend of mine told me, but I can only tell it on 5 minutes for paying.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Keep notes. There's a lot of things apparently.
It's going to be a long 5 minutes.
It's gonna be a good 5 minutes. But I want to say, like you'd say, like we've made fun of the Ottawa Senators on this show going on 5 damn years, and they've always been this kind of team that nobody cared about. They were a budget team that would never spend the money to try and succeed. And then they've developed one of the best players in the world. They've developed Jason Spezza, and they moved him for nothing because he was, I believe, a UFA. So, but with Erik Karlsson, they've developed this whole team that it was within one goal of the East Final, and now they're spending money, and what's happening in the East right now, they could be right back in the East Final again.
Yeah.
Easily. They got the goaltending.
Who's good in the East?
Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa, baby.
Tampa is terrifying.
Pittsburgh hasn't woken up yet, but they will eventually. They will. Tampa, though, Tampa's weird because they had a really terrible season last year and missed the playoffs by like a point, even though they went on that tear at the end of the year. But no one panicked in Tampa. Good for Steve Yzerman not to freak the fuck out.
Right.
That's more of an Edmonton thing to do.
Yeah, like he didn't press the panic button. He finally moved Drouin and got a great defensive piece. Vasilevsky, they got out of the Ben Bishop situation nicely.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky panned out. Kucherov looking great.
He's incredible. Yeah, that team is just like methodically good.
Steven Stamkos isn't hurt and doesn't have to be Steven Stamkos anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, they are looking real good.
Oh, who is he being this year?
He's being
Dave Andrzejczyk.
He's being like 35 goals and 65. He's being Radim Verbata 2015 again. He's like word vomit.
This is what you need. You need a 2015 Radim Verbata to put you over the hump.
Low maintenance, just goes to the net. Terrible interview.
The way things are going, like you have this complacency with the Oilers that aren't very good. The Anaheim Ducks are going to be all the Ryans are on the injured reserve till Christmas.
Yeah,
there's an opening for you.
Yeah.
Just for Getzlaf's 2 months with a facial fracture.
Tough deal down there.
Where did he get hit in the face exactly?
Just
I feel like this is a solid place to fracture.
Yeah, jaw.
Something that would take a long time to heal, or like an orbital bone.
I bring it up because he's one of the few guys in the league who's stupid enough to not wear eye protection. He's in the Eric Goodbranson, Derek Dorsett camp.
Oh, well,
I'm just used to it
now. But the way
he
things
is not used to it. He's only about 33.
The way things are going, the two good teams in this trade could be in their conference finals in June and May.
Like a PK Subban situation where he goes to the finals.
I kind of like if you look at what's happening in the West. Like Paul, can you see anything like? What could you if you're
they were there last year.
Exactly. And Ottawa was too. But it's like these two deals have put them over the hump for what they needed.
Oh, look at that.
We're watching the Canucks play the Flames right now.
And Bo Horvat just got set up on a goal by Brock Boeser.
Barack Boeser?
Which means I got a halvesy.
That's what that sound was. Whoop. We'll go back to that trade in a second because there's a few other things.
Okay.
But they're trying.
Too many John Oliver references on Dave's appearances on the show.
I do like John Oliver very much.
That's what Dave was doing last night, watching that, keeping up. They're trying to call this line something stupid.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to settle on Killer Bees, which is like a wrestling thing from the 80s.
Are they playing with Vanek tonight? I've only been half watching this game.
No,
That was just for the one shift.
Yeah, there was they're keeping the line together.
Yeah.
What, Dave? You had a good name for them, the B Sharps, a classic.
I said that.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Oh,
that was John Oliver.
Didn't you just have the B line?
I love the 99 B line because it ties into the West Coast Express. Except the 99 B line's a little more affordable. And it's
just
a little,
call it the B line. That's okay, I guess.
But then it thinks it's like it's the A line, the B line,
the BB8. So none of them wear 8.
Chris Tanev does, and that guy's scoring goals.
Hey, I got a sexy name for him right now.
Okay.
What's going on?
The top line.
The top line.
Now, I hate to burst your bubble, kids.
Yeah.
But guess what? This goal's coming back.
Really?
I was just now. We're gonna play. Okay, this will be interesting because this is a hot topic on this show. This is not bad radio because this game will be over, but this is applicable to what we talk about. Is the review now? Watching this, I am fairly certain that this was really offside.
Okay.
Now that angle's not going to show it, but Henrik here, who put this in, was incredibly offside.
And we are gonna figure out.
So we're just going to sit around here in silence until they show the right angle?
Well, Ryan will have to do some post. But
no, I don't add these anymore.
I want to see if they review this or not, because this looked really, really... It was a beautiful goal.
It's just Geeta's TV.
Oh, they dropped the puck. Oh, okay,
it's an old TV. It's glitchy. It's black and white. It's coming through a VCR.
She kept freezing
Sorry,
it on.
we're watching this game on a VHS, and there's an offside because of the tape.
But I couldn't see on the replay because of the tracking issue.
It's Calgary. They're not equipped with modern technology.
Did you adjust the tracking?
They've got one camera. We're lucky they have that in this building.
I heard a guy got burned at witchcraft as a witch the other day in Calgary because he tried to use a solar panel.
Burnt at the stake?
Burn him!
They re-elected Mayor Nenshi. They're doing okay in Calgary.
It's because they don't want him to escape.
Yeah, but they
what?
They're holding him captive.
Not even sure I get it.
He might get into provincial politics and take over the province. They can't allow it. They can't have that happen.
We'll go back.
Whatever happened to the guy who ran New Arena Bob?
New Arena Bob has gone back to being Calgary Flames Brian.
They'll have him run for city council in Long Island next because Gary will try to get the Islanders the new building.
I like it, Councilman Bob.
You might know me from the Calgary mayor election. I'm New Arena Bob, and now I take up residence in the 212.
And we got them that rink, and we're gonna get you another one.
But you didn't get the rink, Bob. Well, this one for sure.
Second time's a charm.
So yeah, I'm happy. Back to Ottawa. I'm quite happy. We've always really dumped on the team. Those fans have put up with a lot of subpar. If they'd only spend the money, if they'd only.
Sorry, what city?
The
Vancouver?
Senators.
Oh.
They got to drive.
Speak for yourself, Ryan. Some of us haven't been dumping on Ottawa.
They got to drive 45 minutes to Canada to watch the game.
They're tarping off seats. This is.
There was a time I used to listen to their junior hockey team. No, not their junior. Their AHL team play.
Wait, hold up. We don't fucking care about their fans. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Rangers, and they couldn't sell the building out. For shame.
Yeah, but all their fans are MPs anyways, and they're doing federal stuff.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck the fans. Good for the players.
All
I love
their
players.
Fans are like Stephen Harper. All of them.
Ugh, gross. I like their players a lot. Henrik Karlsson's one of my favorite players in the NHL.
You mean Eric?
Oh, Eric Karlsson. I like Henrik Karlsson too. He plays for Vegas. My second favorite NHL team.
Again, I was a devoted Binghamton Senators fan. I knew their
during the lockout.
I knew their farm system inside out. Ray Emery,
Jason Spezza,
Brian McGrattan,
Jason Spezza.
I devoted a fair amount of time to those Ottawa Senators.
Mike Fountain.
Back coming the other way for that deal was Duchene goes to Ottawa.
Okay.
He's wearing 95, a NASCAR number. Kyle Turris goes to Nashville, and apparently they really, really wanted him. And I think
they were sweet on Turris.
Okay.
And if you forget this, they changed the NHL face-off rules this year, more or less because of how Kyle Turris was winning all those face-offs against Sidney Crosby.
What does he do?
He would bump in, and he would push them off. He'd also headbutt them and kind of obstruct the view of the.
It's the old Peter Zezel techniques.
Yeah,
he would just stick his leg in and push the other guy off and then kick it back.
So there was a lot of things in that series that the NHL took a long look at, like the slashing and the face-offs. But, as we've said, we went from going, Kyle Turris to, oh, man, Kyle Turris in about 4 minutes. So they've gotten a lot better. They could, down the middle. And as Dave said, they've got 3 great centers that can win face-offs, which is how you win cups.
And they got a lot of sexy defense. And
a lot of local centers.
That's true.
Yeah, local kids.
Bonino.
Well, Bonino, he lived here for a while.
Johansson and Turris, that's like having Seymour and Grouse.
Yeah.
In fact, there's their nickname
or
right there.
The Lions.
Ooh.
The what?
The Lions.
Why?
Because there's 2 of them.
Oh, like the bridge?
The mountain.
Have you
the BC Lions?
No, the Beaks.
Those are called the Lions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Are you? I don't even know if you're serious.
I'm serious.
I didn't know that either.
Really?
That's why it's called the Lions Gate.
Shut
because
up.
it's those 2 peaks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh.
And and the First Nations people called them the sisters, actually.
That's how I know them.
Ah, there you
How
go.
progressive.
Because I'm First Nations, so that makes sense.
But the Europeans that
Don't
came
change
over,
the name, you white devil.
I know both names. I'm just speaking historically, David.
Colorado waited out a lot.
You're just going to come over here and take this couch from me? You're just going to take it?
It's neither of your couches to take.
For those.
But he's the white man, Geeta, and that's never stopped him before.
Fun fact to those listening: we used to stick Dave and Paul on the love seat together, and now we've moved things around.
Dave's taken it over himself, and he's accusing others of stealing it from him.
Paul gave me smallpox.
Coming back to Colorado, they get basically they get a first and a third from Ottawa.
Okay.
They get a second from Nashville. Both these teams are going to be pretty good this year, so those aren't going to be Colorado Avalanche-esque picks.
Carbonara sauce.
Now, could Joe Sakic have gotten something else?
Well, that's the thing. Like,
did he do well, or is this just a bunch of Hunter Shinkaricks in a bag? Paul,
You're pooping on these picks, but if Jim Benning were using them, he'd have some all-stars coming out because he's all about deep drafts.
Oh, we got some pretty good players.
But you don't have Tim Benning drafting. You have Joe Sakic.
Who knows?
Well, but
Benning might get traded at the deadline.
He won't be able to type in his draft picks fast enough because his robot hands malfunctioning.
It felt like they gave Joe Sakic. They're like, all right, you got 10 minutes at the buffet table all yourself. You got to load up 1 plate. That's what it feels like to me in this return. It's a lot of unknowns. It's a lot of variables. This could be the Eric Lindros trade to Quebec all over again, or it could not be.
Well, it's got a lot.
I think he's hoping it's Eric Lindros 2.0.
But I don't think there's a
I
don't think there's a. I don't think there's a Forsberg in this deal, so it's a little different.
Oh, but they got to tell the season ticket holders there is.
There's a Forsberg in here.
This is like you're buying a bunch of scratch tickets, and the more you get, the more chance one of them's a winner.
That's a great analogy. But now, okay, let's go with Paul's scratch ticket analogy of this trade. This is where you go to Pucks.net to get your scientific in-depth analysis of trades. But honestly, that's the best analogy I've heard. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Is that what Matt Duchene's worth to you? Is a bunch of fucking scratching wins?
I think they sort of backed themselves into a corner with
they,
the way
though?
that this has
They've
gone.
been hanging on to this guy forever.
I'm pretty sure they could have Chris Tanev in their lineup
But
today.
they priced themselves into a corner because basically when the deal went through, somebody within the Islanders media was like, well, now that the deal's happened, here's what they wanted. And they wanted Travis Hamonic, Matt Barzal, a first-round pick, and a Russian goalie prospect for Duchene, up.
Didn't Duchene have 38 points last year?
Is Duchene good?
Yes. Yes. He's a good player.
Who had a terrible season because he had a black cloud over him.
Yeah.
The best player in this deal.
Yeah.
No,
Easily.
I don't think so.
You think Turris is better?
I do.
The numbers for Duchene are better, and he's been playing for arguably worse teams.
But there's, not to go fancy stats on you, but his defensive ability is poopy.
It's hard to, it's hard to.
Turris,
on that team,
Turris is a 200-foot player. He's a hockey player. He's a hockey player.
That's what you're looking for.
Doesn't that mean fourth liner? No.
That's what you want.
It'll be interesting to see Duchene on a team that's actually competing for playoff position again.
Him and Bobby Ryan look
really
alike.
dropped off. It seemed when the Avalanche became
All kids look like that
again.
these days.
I got the sense
they're kind of a throwback to like the OC of the flow comes out of the
That's
sides.
the thing. Like everybody's got the shaved side.
I feel like Matt Duchene and Bobby Ryan, when they're not playing, are wearing a lot of straight-brimmed Fox racing hats.
Are you saying that Duchene's just a bit of a douche?
I bet he dips.
I bet most dip.
He's got a spitter going in the room.
Yeah.
Kyle Turris is just looking at face-off tape.
I think it's
Good kid he is. And telling everybody how Wayne Gretzky almost ruined his career. Anyway.
It's hard to really gauge them because, like you said, like Paul was saying, Kyle Turris was playing on a competitive Senators team for the last 4 or 5 years, and Matt Duchene is playing for Colorado and being, please, can somebody trade me for anything? Like, I don't want to be here. Like, and it did become a problem, whether they want to admit it or not. Like, it's like Tim Thomas not going to the White House. Like, it affected the team, and now that he's gone, everyone's like, well, I'm glad that they're more or less glad he's not there. And whether they're saying, I'm glad our friend got what he wanted, or they're saying, I'm glad this bullshit's behind us and we can just play hockey. Like it's not a constructive environment.
Well, if you guys could take one or the other, who would you take? I would take Turris.
I'd take Duchene.
I'd probably take Duchene.
I'm more comfortable with Turris.
So we're split.
Turris. It's funny, they were both third overall picks, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years apart.
That's
so
the thing,
Turris
like,
is 2 years older.
If you asked me 2 seasons ago,
Yeah.
it'd be a no-brainer for me that it'd be Duchesne.
We haven't, like, the entire time we've been talking about Matt Duchene on this show over the course of the last couple of years. No one said anything good. It's all just kind of been this cloudy Eeyore.
He was in the Olympics, wasn't he? And they won a gold
Yeah,
medal.
and he was on Team Canada. But as you said, that was the domination super team.
And
where
the thing he was there to do, he didn't even really do it. Like as good as that team was, they didn't score a lot. And isn't that kind of what he does?
Yeah.
Just saying, like, as good as that team was, it could have been better if Claude Giroux was on.
Well,
anyway,
now that we're split and we want to see who's going to be good, we can watch Matt Duchene's debut for the Ottawa Senators this Friday when they go to Sweden and play the Ottawa the Colorado Avalanche.
Sorry, Sweden?
Moto. I had no idea that this was happening.
Why are they doing this in the middle of the year?
Do you know how I found out? When you sent this.
Yeah, and
I Googled it. I'm like, holy shit, they're going to Sweden.
Did you have any idea about this?
I forgot about it.
But he knew.
But why? We bitch and, like, not we bitch and complain, but they bitch and complain, the NHL, about overseas flights and all that stuff.
But they need to grow the game.
In Sweden?
Is this the first regular season games that have been played?
Is this like the
no, definitely
NFL
not.
Well, I was
games
going to say
that are
since
over?
Japan.
St. Louis played the Red Wings in Stockholm.
That's
in a regular season game.
The Canucks have
and
done
LA,
it too.
LA and Anaheim played at the O2 Arena in London town.
For regular season ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't the
Canucks did Japan.
Yeah.
But didn't the Canucks play? Was it pre-season? They did training camp in Sweden.
I thought they
Yeah,
did,
we played preseason games against Swedish elite league teams.
But
in
they in '98, I believe they started the season.
That was
in
Japan.
In Japan.
97, 98, yeah.
Yeah, they played on a frozen
they
swimming
played
pool.
2 games to start the season. 4
That's
points.
where Marc Messier made his Canucks
That's
debut.
right.
Got the C.
Playing on top of a big pool.
Yeah, it actually was an aquatic center.
Yeah, I'm like the diving board was in the end zone of the ice. Like I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
You know, but like look at Japan now; it's a hockey hotbed, right?
What was that goalie's name? Something Fukafuji.
Yutaka Fukafuji. He played like 3 games for LA, and we're still waiting on his first NHL save.
And he was always in the NHL games. Like you could always
because
get
he'd
him.
be somewhere in the system.
Yeah.
Well, now the NHL games have the ECHL teams in there, so you can really deep dive. You can probably get the guy who bagged your groceries last week.
That's how Dave Nonis used to do his scouting. That's why Tommy Sandola was a must-have.
Oh,
he was
man.
rated 97 in NHL, whatever that was. I remember, I acquired him from Europe, and he was league MVP.
But
Santala.
I have no idea why they're going to Sweden and why they're going to Sweden in the middle of the season.
We can't shut down for the Olympics, but we can send 2 random teams that have nothing to do with each other anymore.
Yeah. I think it might have something to do with who their captains are.
Erik Karlsson and
Landeskog.
Gabriel Landeskog, who's like the most Canadian Swedish guy I've
And
ever
so
seen.
you're saying these 2 guys pushed for this?
I don't know. Yeah. We want to play at home. Erik Karlsson actually played against Ottawa. Ottawa did a preseason game against, or a preseason whatever.
Against Djurgården or whoever the fuck he played for.
Yeah, and he goes.
Frölunda. He played for Frölunda.
Yeah,
right.
And he goes. He played the Sens against the Sens in 2008. And he says, "Hopefully, the only time I play against Ottawa," and that was kind of heartwarming because, people want to play in Ottawa. People want to stay there. And it's just,
they've had some great luck with Swedish captains. Like Alfredsson was a pretty good captain for them. The only thing he ever did that upset me is when he shot the puck at Niedermayer in the finals on purpose.
I know, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Well, somebody did that. Somebody on my team did that in the semifinals of a ASHL game, and I got in the way and I broke my hand in 3 places.
I remember this.
Still mad at you. Fuck you, Brandon.
Man,
I know you're listening out there.
My
hand still hurts when it's cold.
These whistle-free podcasts. I mean, we're just swearing all the time now. It's kind of nice.
Swearing. I'm accusing Paul of being racist.
So before we move off the Duchene wagon.
Oh, you had a good good discovery.
I just made sure to take a peek at his Twitter account, and in his bio, the first 2 things are Christian, fisherman. So he's a regular Jesus.
Teach a man to fish. Feed him for a long time.
Trade a man to Ottawa. A lot of Eastern Conference final action.
We need more players with woke AF in their Twitter profiles. Come on, that's what we need.
Stay woke. Alex Jones, man.
Lit fam, etc., etc.
Was that being critical of Alex Jones or? I couldn't tell by your
I'll let you decide.
Intonation, Dave.
Oh no, I hate him.
So those Vancouver Canucks are, they're kind of up. They're kind of hot and cold.
Okay.
In the game tonight that we've had on in the background of this show, they've been hot and cold.
The Killer B Sharp 99 Beeline, whatever you want to call them, they had another coming out. They've had coming out parties every other week. Once against Washington, and now Brock Boeser.
I told you what I call them.
What?
The first line.
The top line.
The Canucks listed them as the top line on their social media stuff the other day, which is a big step forward for the organization.
Congratulations.
And last night I walked past one of the Sedins, and they looked really old. And that's
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Downstairs. Yeah.
And I'm like,
they say the same thing about you.
I was looking.
Ryan actually looks younger and better than I've ever seen him.
Thank you.
I was looking at some old photos of us from college days. Like you're growing into a fine, handsome young man. For all you female listeners out there,
we're all better looking than we were in college.
Everybody
except
except
she was always good looking.
And not me. I'm deteriorating at an alarming.
I appreciate that, Paul.
I have work now, so I dress better, but physically I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
Just the
Aren't
wrapping
we
paper.
all? Cheers.
Cheers.
One thing that I thought was quite interesting is that Brock Boeser is the first Canucks player at 20 years or younger to score a hat trick for the team.
Jason King never did it.
Who was the last one?
Trevor Linden.
Whoa.
In on December 20th, 1990.
Well, Pavel Bure didn't start playing for the Canucks until he was 21 because he was in the gulag or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. But outside of Pavel Bure, what does that say about the prospects and the rookies of this team?
That's not a fair judgment. How common is it to have rookies get hat tricks in general in the NHL?
Yeah, you're thinking too much in the Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, Patrick Laine era, the freak show era of rookies who are good.
So you got 2 years after being drafted to score a hat trick for the Canucks. It happened once.
Very few guys make the league until they're 21.
Well, Vancouver's got a solid track record drafting.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. Is that they don't have any. There haven't been a lot of hot. And if you think about it, their goal scoring threat prospects, there haven't been a lot in a long time.
Do you guys remember how big of a hard on we all had for Hunter Shikaric?
Hey,
no.
He was going to be really good.
Ryan just
he
says
scored
that.
He scored that goal in that preseason game one time. We were all like, "Holy cow!"
And then Brock Boeser does it 3 times against the Stanley Cup champions on Hockey Night in Canada.
But we've learned our lesson too hard. He scores that hat trick on Saturday night, and I'm watching the game from a pub in Victoria, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's October.
We're like, jury's still out on this guy.
I don't know. He's leading the team in points. He's probably going to win the Calder.
I wanted.
Wait, who else is out there?
And he also looks like Prince Charming from Shrek.
Yeah, he really does.
But at one point, Prince William did too, and we all know how that turned out.
The other guy
His wife's still really hot.
The other guy in line for the Calder, there's two. Matt Barzal's having a really good year.
Yeah, and he's kind of name famous. People know who he is, and he plays in New York, so he wins.
The Islanders are on a real tear, and the other guy is the crown jewel of Chayaka in Arizona, Clayton Keller.
Oh, okay.
He's got like 11 goals.
Yeah, he's the one positive.
Mikhail Sergachev and Will Butcher are both as defensemen looking pretty good.
Yeah,
right
remember when I said they shouldn't trade Sergachev out of Montreal for Drouin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like I was right about that one. And Drouin got hurt tonight. He might be out for a long time.
Did you see the video? Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a video or GIF of him on the bench standing up with his hockey pants down a lot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wiping himself down his bare legs with a towel.
He pooped his pants.
No, he said because like everyone's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
He had too much icy hot ointment on his legs, and he's like wiping it off like it's too icy and it's too hot.
Whoopsies.
He couldn't handle the tingling.
This is the hockey equivalent to the Three Little Bears, or the Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
Couldn't
or
get
whatever
it just right.
This icy hot is just right.
I used to use so much Tiger Balm on my knees that I wouldn't even have to put it on anymore. It was just so soaked into the knee pad that I would just put the pad on, and as soon as I got a little bit warm in warm-ups, it would kick in.
Jesus. There's an interesting
My hockey gear smelled like eucalyptus. And vomit, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You say we're talking about the Montreal Canadiens have had their struggles, and you said maybe they shouldn't have traded for Drouin with Sergachev.
Yeah, Drouin's a fine hockey player, but top pairing defenseman, man, it's found money. You don't trade those guys.
An offensive-minded, structurally sound defenseman who's now playing in that juggernaut in Tampa, and he looks like he's just as you'd think that would he crack the lineup, and he is just as integral as Victor Hedman or who else is down there.
And Hedman took a while to really come into his own.
Alex Schuster.
Yeah, didn't Hedman was
Slater Cook.
Hedman was never bad, but he took a little while to really establish himself as
he was
a
left
dominant
off.
defenseman.
He was left off the off the Olympic team controversially in 2013-14.
Hedman was having that streak, Paul, of that kind of that Alex Edler-y kind of thing.
Known to me as the Ryan burnt himself out in the second period Olympics.
I didn't know we were going to watch the gold medal Sochi game. I would have stopped drinking earlier.
I was like, you gotta simmer down.
So we're talking about the Habs.
We won't get into what happened to Geeta. If that was a game of last man standing, I would definitely won that night.
Yeah, but every 4 years I have an Olympic birthday.
And that was one of them.
I was home watching in bed. I don't think I was invited.
I wish I was in bed for that one. Holy God. Okay, this is a stat from Elliot Friedman, and I'll just read it out loud. Regular readers of he does the 30 thoughts or whatever it is.
Okay.
Is this about when he and I had pizza in Milan together?
Let me just read it here. Regular readers know that when I ran into the guy eating pizza in Milan, I didn't care for his candor.
Oh, shoot.
He was really racist against First Nations people.
Something about a
this
couch.
This is funny, Dave. I am woke AF.
No
jokes.
This isn't funny as he's laughing. Regular readers of this blog know I keep a November 1st stat. Since the 05-06 season, 6 of 48 teams that were at least 4 points out after games played on that date came back to make the playoffs.
Okay.
This excludes the lockout-shortened season, 12-13. There were no contenders last season as a late start from the World Cup put nobody in that position. This year, 6 will try to beat the odds. Arizona, Buffalo, Edmonton, Florida, Minnesota, and Montreal. So if tradition continues, if the trends continue, a lot of these teams won't make the playoffs. And a lot of these teams should be making the playoffs.
The
playoffs.
Right.
Out of those teams, I don't see... Well, obviously, Arizona's not going to make the playoffs. Clayton Keller's going to have to score 400 goals to do so.
Their goaltending is not very good, and I'm not pro-Ranta. It turns out I was anti-Ranta. And the Wedgwood is brittle.
Buffalo, they have stopped and started their rebuild for about 4 or 5 times now. And
everyone's favorite alleged future Canuck, Evander Kane, had 2 goals tonight in a 3-1 win.
Hooray!
That gets him to 5-8.
He's had a quiet year.
He has, yeah, and they basically said like in the first week of the regular season that he's not going to be re-signed because he's going to ask for so much goddamn money.
Well,
yeah, but he makes telephones out of them.
But they solved that issue with the tracksuits. He just wears those Trump brand suits, so they're nice and baggy. It's very comfortable.
And if they get wet, you don't
water
know.
repellent.
Yeah, they're water repellent, and they have to be because people throw garbage at people who wear those suits, and it just Teflon comes right off.
On paper, Montreal should have made a bit more of a valiant effort. They're turning things around. They just beat the Golden Knights.
Well, I think
tonight.
by scratching Carey Price for all these games, it's really helped their
and
their
those Golden Knights are excellent
at home.
That played out exactly the way that you said it would.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't anticipate that all their goalies would get hurt, so I think you got a little bit lucky.
This is incredible.
The Lagasse guy, he sucks. He's not an NHL goalie.
He's a goalie. He owns pads. I don't know what you're looking for.
I got some gear in the basement.
Good enough. Nobody expected that because, they're on their 4th goalie.
Yeah.
Is it 4th?
Yeah, it's their 4th goalie.
And they're so hurt that their emergency call-up of Dylan Ferguson, who is starter for the Kamloops taking care of business Blazers, is still the backup.
He's still there, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. He might get into a game.
He's the only other goalie they have under contract at the moment.
Yeah. It's that or the goalie coach kind of thing or emergency call-ups. But, I mean, when you have this Lagasse guy starting, you can't do the emergency call-up. So I would love to see them get lit up. And in comes Fergie, who actually looked pretty good in his preseason game against the Canucks.
He had a pretty good cushion. They put 9 by the Canucks that night. Poor Richard Backman didn't take care of business back in September.
The stars of the WHL made him look very bad.
Did they ever? Oh, come on. He could have played that. Sorry. Mark Giordano not hustling into an ISIS.
Boy, he's a really good hockey player.
He's pretty good. I don't really like him that much, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's the captain of the Calgary Flames. So by birthright in my childhood, I hate the captain of the Calgary Flames. Jerome McGinley. What are you smiling about? Why are you so goddamn happy?
Did you know Jerome McGinley used to come out if he was a star in a road city every time?
Aww.
He always did that.
He never understood that we didn't like him.
He just looks like the nicest guy ever.
He was the heel player that thought he was a face. He was the Kurt Angle of hockey players.
And now he's going to be playing for Canada at the Olympics.
Is he actually? That would be great.
They've had a couple pre-tournament games.
Yeah.
I didn't see him on there. I don't think Doan's there either.
No, Doan's working for the league. He's not going.
Right. He's working for the league.
He got a job.
Because the Arizona Coyotes wouldn't.
I don't think Jerome McGinley's playing. He hasn't retired.
Yeah.
Is there any chance at all, guys?
I thought he was still in Colorado.
No.
Probably.
Colorado.
He was part of the deal.
He was in L.A. at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Big 88.
Well, yeah. Well, that didn't work out too
I
well
talked
for
to
him.
him while he was playing for L.A. He's a very nice man. Even, in those dark times at the end.
I don't buy it. I think it's all an act.
The other team mentioned on there is the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
And
They're going to figure it out.
They're not good anymore.
They will be again.
Or maybe this is the true Edmonton Oilers.
They won tonight. They won in opera time over the New York Islanders. Connor McDavid got the game-winning goal in overtime.
Did you say opera time?
Opera time.
What would happen if they
Pat
don't
Bennett.
make the playoffs? What kind of shakeup do you do?
They have to move back to Rexall.
You guys promised you'd be good. We gave you this ring.
They're gonna chopper that rink. They're gonna airlift it right into Calgary.
Taylor Hall was the missing piece.
It might have been.
If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think that you got to Tampa Bay it, and you'll be tempted because they missed the playoffs for 10 straight years. You'll be tempted to make changes, but it is an anomaly.
Tampa Bay it and how? Get super old?
All the fancy stats back up that they're doing the right things, but they're just not getting the bounces, and their goaltending's been shit.
And I'm only saying that because the 2004 Tampa Bay Lightning just had a reunion.
So, oh really? They did.
Yeah.
So Brendan Gaunce is on the ice with a 5-3 lead and 30 seconds left, and he didn't score a goal at all last year. Wouldn't it be great if in his first game of the season he scores a goal right here. That would be nice.
I think maybe that's what they're trying to do there.
Well, you're up 5-3, and you're a team with Ben Hutton on the ice, who has not had a good night. So you don't want to count your chickens. You want to just keep things tight.
Hey, listen, let's not be hard on Ben Hutton. Sure, he's had a tough year and a half. Come on, it's just a rough stretch. He'll be fine.
But just like Jerome McGinley, what's he so freaking happy about? Why is he smiling? I don't like it.
It's a facade, Dave.
It's a game. You shouldn't have fun. Wait, that doesn't work. You know who really likes to give her when he scores goals? Sam Gagner. I've only seen it twice.
The other guy that celebrates really hard is Sean Monahan, who does this Ryan Kessler Superman bare-chested scream and howl at the moon.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
At least
cool.
he's not dabbing.
It's coming, Geeta. As this new generation make the NHL.
I don't think an NHL player has dabbed yet and lived to tell about it.
I think that's reason to get your ass kicked if you go and dab.
Yeah,
First player to dab, I buy Ryan a jersey.
Didn't one of the young
Cassian jersey.
If an NHL player dabs, I will order his jersey online and give it to Ryan for Christmas.
That's a good deal.
Didn't one of the young Leafs do it on the bench or something?
No, it's got to be the goal scorer.
Yeah.
Or if a goalie gets the win, like in the shootout, and how
Right.
Mike Smith goes crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, you made a good joke before we started about what type of goalie Mike Smith is.
So when I was on my way here, I was watching the Calgary feed on Geeta's Game Center, and they were talking about what a battling goalie Mike Smith is, and they were comparing him to Billy Smith because he does make a lot of big grand movements.
Yeah.
But to me, he just looks like a guy who's driving in a car with a bee in it, just flailing like crazy. Because if you watch Mike Smith play, it's all very dramatic and life or death.
Yeah, like Roberto Luongo.
And he's had very comparable. And he's had a great year. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he had that horrible preseason, and we were all like, oh, look out. But, he's kept Black stapled to the bench.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Just eat tacos and shut the fuck up. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up pretty soon.
Yeah, we're almost finished
I'm
there.
getting fucking hungry. And it's 9:30 at night. Oh, my God, it's so late.
A couple of, here's some stats.
What clock are you on?
Oh, it's 8:30
Yeah,
at night.
daylight savings time
started early.
screwing with everybody. A couple of stats I brought up.
Okay.
Just that they're the league leaders in goals. Kucherov has 14.
Okay.
Stamkos points 25. Although that could change. I don't know if they play.
Oh, he is Steven Stamkos this year.
He is Stamkos.
Never mind.
He's not a he's not a medical.
People hear about the other successful players in Tampa and they think, oh, Stamkos isn't. Man, he's
there
showing
too.
up every night.
Oh no, he's there too. Don't worry. And again, where is it? Vasilevsky. He's leading the NHL in wins with 11. So that team is doing amazing things. Yeah. They're regularly playing 7 defensemen. So I've been trying to keep.
That's interesting.
Yes, they've been playing some interesting hockey. They're a team that you just kind of want to watch and almost watch like a medical student and just see what they're doing. It's very interesting down there. It's a smart team. And other stats I have: the Dallas Stars, who we spent the whole preseason or season preview episode, are thriving under Big Ken, and they have a power play that's more or less hitting stride at 32% a game,
well,
or
I feel
32%.
Like that's the Cinderella if the shoe fits.
That is gotta be, It's like. Do these kids need a dad or something? Did all these hunks just need somebody to keep them in line? I think maybe Dan Hamhuis wasn't the dad they needed. They needed someone a little more rough and gruff.
Needed to circle back to where he belongs.
So this is like a Steve Harrington, Jim Hopper situation. Is what you're saying?
I know that reference.
Topical.
Is that Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys all watched season 2?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
I really enjoyed it.
Episode 7 was confusing. Oh, you're trying to sell me a spin-off. I don't care.
Is that true, Paul?
I think they're setting stuff up for season 3.
They should.
I don't want to give.
Those kids
too
are going to
much.
get awkward and Fred Savagey. They're not going to be cute anymore.
I love the Wonder Years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was good until Fred Savage started walking around with crow's feet and a fucking receding hairline. I'm Fred Savage. I'm in junior high school.
Some other stats I have is
Dave singing out of tune. If anybody,
the St. Louis Blues are 100% for goal, shooting percentage in the power play.
Excellent.
While the LA Kings are 100% in the shootout for saves.
Oh, I can't wait till they meet each other.
What's gonna happen? The immovable force against the
immovable object against the unstoppable force.
Thank you very much.
Physics.
So I was just reading those. Vegas, they finally went on the road and really, they're a good team.
Yeah.
Ish. They're a fast team. They're not bad. They're kind of skilled. If they had a goalie, they could probably, they could make the playoffs. I mean, the West is a bit of a mess, but I mean, that team's not as bad as we say they are, Paul. Vegas?
No one said
thoughts?
they were bad.
Could they make the playoffs?
I don't think
Anyone
they're going to
can
stay in
make
the
the
playoff
playoffs.
picture, but I mean, stranger things have happened. Sorry.
Oh, I see what you did there. You really do look like Jim Hopper, by the way. Thank you. Are you cultivating this now on purpose?
Well, the beard was only grown in for the Halloween costume.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Keep the beard. That's a nice
See,
beard.
that's
I was
like
gonna shave
another
after.
vote of confidence.
Yeah, I was gonna shave after Halloween, and now everyone's
no.
saying I need to keep it. It makes my chin look bigger.
Yeah, maybe just you can just trim the chin.
You
part.
were already pretty handsome, but now you're
I gotta
really
tidy it up
handsome.
a little. It's getting a little out of hand, but
Do you got a trimmer?
That's
Yeah, I
about
do.
as I would stay at this length always.
that's what Geeta was saying before you guys got here.
Holy smokes, we have a consensus.
First time all night.
Paul is now hotter, ladies.
You can
if that was even possible.
you thank these folks.
I think the last thing, before we wrap it up, I want to say is there's a great video from the draft this year. Not the first day, but the second day, of where they have all the little the cameras at the desks, and Jim Benning's mic'd up, and Cole Lind, who's a player for the Kelowna Rockets, was falling, and he's dumbfounded. He's like, "Why is nobody taking Cole Lind?" Like, it fell into their laps. He's actually having.
Just that video. It's
Why isn't anybody taking him? Like, and like these are the moments that I really like Jim Benning, where he's like, Jesus Christ, what's like? Well, I'll take him. Like, just give him here.
Free money.
Yeah, I guess. And he's lighting it up. He's leading the Rockets in scoring and in points. He had a great game in that weird WHL versus Russia series they're doing.
Yeah, a couple goals.
Yeah, and he is turning heads, and they're trying to sign him, and he's likely going to play on the World Juniors team. And so, just a positive down in the old depth chart for the Canucks right now. It's that you can watch on a local basis, because most of these prospects are across the pond waiting to play the Senators or the Colorado Avalanche.
For you East Coasters listen to the show, the Kelowna Rockets are the shitbag London Knights of the West.
That's very true. 1 year, they phoned Prince Albert asking about Josh Morrissey, who's now a defenseman for, I believe, the Winnipeg Jets.
Yes.
And they said, how about we give you Leon Draisaitl, too, in the same deal, just to appease the Kelowna Rockets in a London Knight kind of way. So they got a little bit of an unfair advantage going on there.
Yeah, all three of those top picks, though, for the Canucks from this past draft are all, I think, exceeding expectations.
Looking
and
pretty good.
should be leading the way probably in Utica next year. We'll see if any of them could crack the big club if they let go of certain aging veterans.
How's that the good DiPietro doing? Michael DiPietro.
I haven't heard too much. All the talk is
he
about
was the other pick, right? Or do we have 2 second rounders this year?
Cole Lind went in the second.
DiPietro was a later. He was like fourth, I think.
No, third round. He was third round.
DiPietro was he went what jersey number does he wear? 64, I think. So he was 64th overall. So early third round.
Yes,
he would have been. Yeah, that makes sense.
So those 3 guys are the guys we picked in the first 3
I haven't heard too much, but it's like it's a definite positive.
He won the Memorial Cup last year as a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. Whatever.
So, mind you, we were pretty hyped about the Castles Subban family draft. Shinkarik.
Oh, yeah.
Castles looked really good at that Memorial Cup. See, that's the thing. You can't always judge these guys like Cole Lind. I hope the best.
Was that the
for
Horvat
him.
draft too? Was that Horvat, Shinkarik? We had 2 first rounders.
No, Horvat was its own year. I think that was the McCann, Shinkarik.
Or was it? No, it was Vertanen. It was
Vertanen
Big Jakey.
McCann.
Yeah, it was that.
Was Vertanen, McCann.
Was that? It's already so long ago.
They're blending together, yeah.
Well, we were anyway. That draft, we were super hyped,
and now those guys are some solid studs in the Utica Comets.
Subban's got 1 point in 7 games, I believe.
Is he playing goal?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Randy Bachman is starting,
That's
they need another backup,
that's
right?
who I really feel bad for this season is Malcolm Subban. He's been waiting to get his shot for so long. He won a few games.
Gets a shutout, I believe. No, he got the win.
Yeah, you got a shutout.
Yeah.
And he got the win. He shut out his old team.
Yeah. They scored one late.
That's right.
But he got his first win, and he looked great, and he was finally getting that chance.
And then now he's hurt, but that's too bad.
What are you going to do? I think we'll wrap it up. This week's podcast, we got a really good 5 minutes for Pan. I had two things I was the Kyle Turris story. I remember that. Good.
Thought you were going to save that for 5 minutes for Pan.
I will. That's I got to tell it there. This month's Patreon bonus episode, we'll do another Q&A. So we always love when you send questions. Doesn't matter what they are. Just the more the merrier. We usually have a lot of fun doing these episodes, and that'll be sometime this month in November. You can email them, tweet them, Facebook, all that jazz. Or on the Patreon website, I'll post links. But yeah, we want your input for the Q&A, and if you want to support the show monetarily, $5 plus gets you all this extra content. Or just follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa. And we're gonna be on Spotify soon. We got Spotify. We got selected to be on Spotify, which is a kind of a big.
Jay-Z's not even there.
Nah, he's got his own.
Thanks, Spotify.
Yeah, that's Tidal. That's Jack White's thing. I've been trying for years there. If you do want to support the show and not do it monetarily, the best way to do it is head on over to iTunes, rate and review the show. It's kind of a weird process. Like when you do it, you hit submit and it doesn't appear.
Yeah.
It's because of how specific these reviews are.
Okay.
iTunes has to screen everything. So if you didn't think you'd do it, you did. It just takes a second.
You know what? I bet it was that I can't. What was it? I can't masturbate to this review that someone wrote about the podcast.
Oh yeah, disgruntled
I think
review.
Since then they've had to moderate everything posted about our podcast because they saw that and they were like, "What kind of podcast are we hosting? Apple is a family company.
A masturbation podcast, not in this goddamn house."
But then they were like, "Oh wait, no." I can't. Okay, yeah, we're okay with
I
that.
love tugging it with Tom. It's such a good show.
Oh, dear. What have I done?
So, yeah, he also reviews lotions. It's very helpful.
That's nice.
This is all right. Well, have a great evening or morning or whenever you're listening to this, folks.
Oh, I bet you it's a great morning.
Day.
It's a smooth glide of the podcast.